Hello there, everyone. Alrighty, let's get started. Okay, so today we are working on part 4. I have to adjust something over here, just a moment. There we go. I adjusted my monitor over the weekend because I was working on something else and I was trying to see it from a different angle and it just wasn't working. I still feel like I'm cockeyed on the screen. Like, maybe it's just the way the tables sit. There we go. That looks better. Okay. We got all the technical stuff out of the way. There we go. So we are doing part 4 of our Quilted Travel Tote. What? It is the same pattern. I'm using the 10 Pocket Travel Tote by I Always Pick the Thimble. And there's a playlist with the video. And at the very end of the series, you see that I had a bit of a problem with the bag, and we are going to be fixing that with this bag. We will not have the handle problem that we had at the end of the video for the 10 Pocket Travel Tote. So this is the same bag, but the entire first 2 episodes were spent making our fabric. So instead of just using fabric that was purchased, I made quilted fabric. That was for there, and for the utility pocket, which is now falling. All right, there we go. And for the utility pocket. So the first 2 parts of this series were spent pretty much making the fabric and then cutting out all of the pieces. During part 3, I have a kitty cat down here. Hold on. Hi, sweetie. Please don't do that. I forgot to turn on my sewing machine and my iron. Knew I was forgetting something this morning. At least that means she wouldn't have hurt herself while she was trying to chew on the iron cable. Here we go. All right. I think we got that taken care of now. It's a Monday, can you tell? Well, in my world it's Monday. It may not be Monday in your world. But in my world today is Monday, so you'll have to forgive me for losing my mind a little bit. Okay, so we have created the utility pocket, and we've attached one side with a basting stitch to our lining, because we are putting our utility pocket on the inside of the bag. So, oh, there we go. The pattern, this thing right here, tells you can put the utility pocket on the lining or on the exterior of the bag. Because I want this bag to stand out like it is, I am not putting the utility pocket on that side. I decided to put the utility pocket on the inside. If you choose, you don't even have to make a utility pocket. It's completely optional, but I did. Okay, so what I need to do next, according to the directions, is I need to baste the other side. You can see I still have clips on this side. I'm going to baste the other side, and then I am going to top stitch across the bottom so that this becomes a pocket, because right now it opens on both sides, so it's not a pocket. Thinking of that, if you want, I hadn't thought about this, but if you want this to be a bag that goes onto your luggage when you're going through the airport, this piece could be left undone at the bottom and put on the exterior of the bag, and it would then slide over the handle of your suitcase, and this could be your carry-on. Hadn't thought of that till just now. All right, so now that we've got the sewing machine turned on, let's go over there and get this sewn up. All right, so I am using bright white thread on this bag. And I have to say, it's not standing out nearly as much as I thought it would. I would have thought that the bright white would really make for a bright contrast on this fabric, but it's not nearly as bright. Pay attention to the hook. There we go. Now, I want to change to my walking foot because we're going over lots of layers here. I'll go back to a regular foot later, but for right now, I want my walking foot. I hate switching back and forth between these feet. I am semi-ambidextrous, but I always hate screwing these little screws in with my left hand. Okay, there we go. All right, so a basting stitch is basically just the longest stitch you have available to you. Tell if that's blurry or if it's just my eyes. There we go. I feel like that's better. All right. I don't like the way that's stitching. It's pushing the fabric too much. Okay, let's go the other way. All right. So now this top stitch is going to be a bit of a challenge because the fabric is really thick. So seeing exactly where 1/8 of an inch is going to be a little challenging, but I am going to do, there we go. All right. Okay, and now I am going to do another stitch 1/4 of an inch away, because that's the style the designer has created for this entire bag. So 1/4 of an inch is there. Alrighty. Oh, that didn't stitch at all. I did not notice that. All right, let's try that again. There, we have stitches this time. Okay, that's better. The camera doesn't seem to be sitting correctly today. What did I do differently? No, it's not that. You're getting way too much of a view over there today. I don't know why. That's better. Not great, but it's better. All right. There we go. So now we have our pocket attached, and it is a pocket, not a hold through. All right. So that takes care of that. Now, oh, no, it's not done. I forgot. So this is where you're going to start making your own decisions. This is one big pocket at this point. And if you want to leave it that way, you can. Actually, in my case, I'm going to. I had to think about that for a minute. But I'm going to have smaller pockets on the other side. So I am going to leave this the same size that it is. No, I'm not. I am going to put 2 side pockets in. Because later on, once we put the bag together, this is actually going to turn in 3 inches. 3 inches, right? I had to look this up last time too, because I can never remember. 3.5 inches. So it's going to be 7 inches deep total. So I am going to put lines at 3.5 inches. And that way, they're kind of like little pockets on the side. There's one side. And the other side. Now, if you are so inclined, I need to finish that all the way up. I forgot. You can make these pockets whatever size you want. So if you're making this bag, tote bag, to be, say, a diaper bag, you can put whatever size you need for the diapers. Or lotions, or put the diapers in the bottom and put the lotions and the creams and if you've got a specific size hand wipes. If you're making this to go to the beach, you can put your iPad in here or whatever reading item you want. So you're going to want to make it the size for that. Keep in mind it is a very deep pocket, so you're going to want to be cautious of smaller items. So I carry around a small pair of folding scissors. I don't have them right here. I have multiple versions of them. I carry around a small pair of folding scissors in my purse. If I were to make a pocket for that with this, it would get lost in the bottom of the pocket. So just want to be cautious. All right, back to the sewing machine, which I'm still not happy on that angle. And now we are just going to stitch over the line that we just made. Well, the 2 lines, I should say. All right, that's one pocket. There we go. So now we have a couple of smaller pockets on the side. Trim off my threads. And then the last thing I have to do is get rid of the blue lines that I drew with my pen. And the way we do that is we just warm up the fabric. And I've mentioned this before. I saw somewhere on the internet that if you use these Frixion pens and you live in a colder climate, where the line has gone away, it can come back if the weather is really cold. I don't know what really cold means. I'm not certain what temperature that is at. And I don't know whether to believe it or not, because you can't always believe everything the internet says. But it did say that somewhere, so I like to mention it. Alrighty. Now we are done with our inner pocket. We will be coming back to this interfacing in a little while, or lining, not interfacing, lining in a little while. Are you going to stay up there, or are you going to go falling down because you're too heavy? Let's see. Stay. Well, we'll find out. When it comes falling down, I'll be like, okay. And in the pattern, it gives you the size for like an iPad or something. So now I need pieces L and J. L and J. Do I need both J's? Fold zipper pouch accessory pocket, L, with right sides together lengthwise, pin long raw edges together. Okay, let's put that over there. Trying to keep my letters together so I don't lose them. I don't need to make them again. Okay, so we're taking this piece, we are folding it in half lengthwise, raw edges together, and we're going to sew along the entire long edge right here. Using a 1/2 inch seam. All right. Back to the machine we go. And I mentioned this on the last part. My walking foot, inside of it is the 1/8 inch. There's a halfway point, which is a 1/4 inch, and then the outside of the walking foot is a 1/2 inch. So I know exactly where I'm stitching. So that was easy. And I'm going to press this. Just to loosen up the threads a little bit. And now we are going to take it and turn it right side out. And now we are going to press it straight in half. So we want to make sure our seam is straight. There we go. Keep everybody nice and flat. All right, let that sit for a minute. Now we go across, flatten it down here. Okay, so this is our accessory pocket. Woo! There we go. Accessory pocket. So the top, so the seam edge right here, that's the bottom. The top of the pocket is the folded part. That way you have a nice, crisp, clean edge on the top of your accessory pocket. And in order to make it look consistent like everything else, we're going to take it to the sewing machine and do a top stitch. So the first stitch is about 1/8 of an inch away from the top of the pocket. And I'm actually going to increase this to 3.5. I'm going to give it a nice long stitch for my top stitch. So we're going 1/8 of an inch away from the top of from the fold. And then for consistency's sake, we are doing a second row 1/4 of an inch from that row, from that stitching. Voila. here we go. We have nice, pretty top stitch all the way across. So, and I'm looking at the fabric and I'm seeing this side's nice and pretty. Over on this side, there's a bit of a fold that didn't get pressed out all the way. I mean, it's not actually a fold anymore, but you can still sort of see the line where the fold was. So this is the side that I'm going to use on the inside. This will be the side I use on the outside. So the next thing I need to do is place this on top of a piece of J. So here's J, or one of them. And it's got lots of extra stuff. Here's my accessory pocket. And it says to make it 1.5 inches from the top. So ruler, pocket, and a couple clips. And it says, using a 1/2 inch seam, machine-based pocket L, this piece, to the outside of zipper pouch J along the side edges. So I am not going to use a 1/2 inch, but I am going to baste them. We are going to use a 1/2 inch seam later on to attach all the pieces together, and I do not want my basting stitches to be seen at any point in time. So therefore I will use closer to a 1/4 inch. Okay, if I remember correctly, let me just pull the pattern over here for a minute. No reason to move away from the machine because I believe the next step is to top stitch across the bottom of the pocket. All right, so we're going to go back to the regular stitch, but raise it up so that it matches the stitching on the top. And now we will do our top stitch 1/8 of an inch away again from the bottom of the pocket this time. And now the 1/4 inch away from that stitch line we just made. Beautiful. So now we have the stitching on the bottom and the same stitching on the top. And we're back to our decision-making process because we need to decide how big we want our pockets to be. So it says here 2 5-inch pockets, a 1-inch pocket, and a 3-inch pocket. Now keep in mind this is called the 10-pocket travel tote. So she did 10 pockets. So far we have 3. Sorry, over here. We have 3. So if I wanted to make 10, I'd need to put more here. Actually, there's a couple pockets later on. So needless to say, that's the name of it, is the 10-pocket travel tote. I can't believe I'm out of water. All right. So now, this pocket is shorter. So this would be a much better spot for me to put like my scissors, a pen, something of that nature. Keep in mind, you're going to lose a 1/2 inch on either side. So the first thing I'm going to do, not with that ruler because it's too small. Is that open? That's open. Wow. I am going to draw a line 1/2 inch from the edge. I am not going to be stitching on this, but I want to know where the edge of my pocket is going to be. I'm going to do the same thing over here on the other side. All right. So a pen. Oh. Gotta go in from the right side. That is how a pen would fit in there. And a pen needs to have about 1 inch. And so, let's see. Let's go in 4 inches. No, from 3.5. First we need to do our 3.5 because it's going to be on the side. Now this is, I'm doing the exact same thing I did on the exterior pocket. I'm going in, and this time I am going in 3.5 inches from the edge. I should have thought of that. I forgot I needed to do that. That way you get, oh, that's not 3.5 inches. That's only 2.5 inches. So that's going to be there. 3.5. There we go. So that line I'm not stitching on. I'm stitching on this line. And how much does that give me in the middle? Just about 13 inches. And I don't want my pen to be right next to it. So I'm going to go in, let's see. I'm going to go in 2.5 inches here. That'll give me room to put like scissors or any small items I want. Then I'm going to go in 1 inch for the first pen. I'm going to go in another inch for a second pen or pencil. And then let's get the bigger ruler so I can make bigger pockets. Let's see. What do we have left? We have about 8 inches. So I'll just do a 4-inch pocket. And then leave that space. So I got Lots of little pockets here. Let's go back to the sewing machine and get these things sewn up. And I'm going to put my stitch length back to normal, which will look a little weird because we've got longer stitches on the other spots, but don't forget to seal your thread, either back tack or if you've got an option on your machine to do it. That way these seams don't come out later on. Okay, last pocket. Wonderful. Now we have to get rid of the blue lines. All right. Okay. So I got rid of the little threads. And let's see. That's not the way I wanted to go. This way. There we go. Okay, so when I did the top stitching, I used a longer stitch. So it's 3.5 on my machine. When I did the pockets, I dropped it back down to a standard stitch, which is 2.5. So you can see the difference between the two stitchings. I'm not 100% certain if I like it that way or not. It's kind of annoying to me. But I did not want to take a chance that these pockets, the seam would come out. And when you have the longer stitches, sometimes that can happen. So I dropped it back down to the smaller stitches just to make sure that I don't have an issue with the pockets tearing open. All right, looks like I got all of the blue ink off of the pocket. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pockets here. And I have 3 on the other one, so I've made my 10 pocket travel tote. At this point, I have 10 pockets. Okay, so now that we have this made up, top stitch over these lines, start at the bottom fold of the pocket, and sew to the top of the pocket, reinforcing the stitches at both ends. Been there, done that. All right. We're not using this yet. So I'll put it right back there. And let's put you over here. Can't guarantee it'll stay, but we'll see. The zipper pouch assembly is next. So I have M, N, oh, that's K. Oh, there's N. N. We're going to need J and J and K. But first we're going to start with this. And I mentioned the other day when I put the zipper in, the zipper pull in, I was very happy that I was able to get it nice and even on the edge. I mean, it's got a little bit of an edge, but not too bad. And this is the point where I'm going to be happy about it. Because we are going to take these pieces of fabric and we are going to put them on either end of the zipper. And because I was able to get my zipper pull on, both edges are closed. Both of these edges are closed up. And sometimes when you do this activity, if one end is open, you can get the zipper a little, it's not as tight, obviously, because the zipper isn't closed. So I'm happy that it's closed. So the first thing we have to do is fold these in half and press them. So, very simple. Fold it in half. And press it in half. And then the next thing we have to do is press under 1/2 inch on either edge. So I have this doohickey, and over here it says 1/2 inch. So I take my fabric and I fold it up until it meets the 1/2 inch mark, and then I press it. This thing does get hot. So if you leave it under there, it's like right there, it's warm. It's made of metal, and this is a hot iron. So metal, iron, hot. Let it rest for a few minutes. Something made noise. Did I lose the camera? I did not. All right. I don't know what's making noise. Something's making noise. And now I'm going to fold it back in half. And press. Ah. It is being challenging. It does not want to sit correctly. All right. Now we're going to repeat the process with the second piece of fabric. Somebody is dragging a piece of a garbage can around, and I don't know why. Maybe they were taking it in. It was just really loud. And the last tab. Okay, and fold in half. And press. So this might have been might be a place that you can add an accent fabric. It's going to be on the very top of the zipper pouch, and if you wanted to add a little pop of color of some kind to it, this would be, you could use an interesting colored zipper and then match it up with the zipper fabric, zipper tabs. Okay. Top stitch about 1/8 of an inch away again. Okay, so we're just going to put the zipper going to take the zipper, I'm going to put it in, and we are going to be doing our top stitching, so we're going to be 1/8 of an inch away, and then we are going to do another second one, which is 1/4 inch away. That's on one side, and the exact same thing on the other side. And I am putting my zipper in to the 1/2 inch mark, so the distance from the distance of the folded piece of fabric is how far in I'm putting my zipper. Okay, that's not quite right. Okay. To the machine we go. And now we need to get rid of our walking foot because it will not work correctly with the next few steps. It will be challenging to use it would be very challenging to use a walking foot at this point. Come on. Okay. Now, my zipper foot. And I am going to stitch right over the zipper. If you are so inclined, you can cut down the actual zipper portion of it. I don't like to do that. I prefer to leave it all where it's at. And to get my 1/8 of an inch, I am moving my needle over so that it stitches nicely along the edge. I need to keep this out. Alright, before I move my zipper, I'm going to switch to the other side, so I don't need to worry about, because I'm going to move my needle. I'm not going to stitch any differently. I'm just going to move my needle so that I get my 1/4 inch. Okay, and now I'm going to move my needle as far over as I can. No, that's too far. Not gonna, yeah, there we go. And now I'm going to get my 1/4 of an inch. Same thing on this one. Now, it may not be exactly 1/4 of an inch, but it's pretty darn close. All right. Trim off our threads. They're just making a mess. And will get in my way later on. There we go. Okay. Place one zipper pouch lining K, right side and top facing up. So we have our K. We only need one of them, so I'm going to move the other one off to the side. There we go. And place the zipper right side up on top of zipper lining with closed zipper pull at the left. Okay, so now that I have both edges of the zipper sealed, I can go back and forth. So we want this closed part of the zipper pull on the left. So that's what we did. Right side up on top of zipper lining. Okay, so we're right side up. And we've got a little bit extra fabric over there, so we want to center it. The way I'm going to do that, so I'm going to take my zipper and I'm folding it in half as best as I can, which is always challenging with the zipper, especially when I get to the point where I really want to get to, which is right here. And I'm going to clip just a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. Gave me a little V. I'm going to take my fabric that I'm matching it up to and do the exact same thing. Just a little clip. Actually, with this type of the design on the fabric, you couldn't even see it. There you go. And now we're going to take the zipper and put it back. And I am going to use a pin for this. And I'm going to match up my little notches. And put a pin in. It says the next thing to do is to place another piece of fabric on top of this. I am going to baste this first. I don't want my zipper moving, especially now that I know that it's slightly off center. So I want to make sure that we get the zipper exactly where I want it to be. And basically, basting, for all intents and purposes, basting is just pinning with thread. So I'm going to increase my stitch length to basting. I'm going to leave my zipper foot on. And then I'm going to move my needle all the way over to the right again so that we get the least amount of seam. So that later on, when I am sewing the actual seam, you won't see my basting. All right, get my zipper pull out of the way. And now we go back to our basting. So now, again, I just want to remind you that the pattern does not say to baste there. I am doing it because it makes me happy. I prefer not to have to mess with pinning and having this slip out of the way later on. So now that we've done that, because we are on step number 15, place one zipper pouch lining right side up, so right side up, and top facing up. So this is my top. If you had a directional fabric, that would matter. It doesn't matter here. Place the zipper on top with the closed zipper pull at the left, aligning the edge of the zipper with the top edge of the zipper lining. Did that. Next, place one zipper pouch outside, right side down. So it doesn't say doesn't matter which one. So I am going to take the J, zipper pouch, what is it called? Zipper pouch outside, letter J. I'm going to leave the one that already has the pocket, or that has the pocket on it, over there. And I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to, with right side down, and if you have a top or a bottom, you've got to make sure the top of the fabric is facing up. We're going to line this up. And pin it. And here is why I did the basting. Because the next step is to sew all three of these layers together. And if I hadn't basted that zipper to the other piece of fabric, there's a chance that as we're doing this, things could slip. And we don't want that to happen. All right, this isn't working for me. Pin. Come on. There we go. All right. So we've got our layers. We've got it lined up on the edge so that our edges are even. Our zipper pull sticks out a little bit, but our zipper tab sticks out a little bit. That's fine. We knew that was going to happen. And so now we are going to stitch a quarter inch from the edge. So now we're going to do a 1/4 inch seam. Okay, so now I want to figure out where this goes to give me a 1/4 inch seam. We have the regular stitch length, we do. And there's a 1/4 inch. So I'm using my feed dog as a guide. Right at the edge of the feed dog, I'm placing my 1/4 inch. And now I'm going to bring my needle down, not all the way, but down. Stop. And I'm going to move it over. Why is the needle not moving? Until I get my 1/4 inch seam. So I have my 1/4 inch seam. And I know that the fabric should be on both feet, feed dogs. That way it flows smoothly. Let's get the zipper pull out of the way. You always want to move your zipper pull, that way you have consistent seams. I mean, consistent stitching. The seam is going to be the same no matter what. Consistent stitching. So you want to move the feed or the zipper pull back out of the way. Keep everybody straight. Wonderful. Okay, so now I have to turn the page. Step 16. Pull zipper pouch outside J and zipper lining K away from the zipper so the zipper is exposed and both pieces of fabric are right sides or wrong sides together. So, open, pull it around, and now the zipper is all by its little lonesome here. And now we want to press the fabric away from the zipper. Hold on just a moment, please. I am hearing an odd noise that I don't know what it was, but it seems to have stopped, so we'll be fine. There we go. Okay. Pressing the fabric away from the zipper. So this can be challenging because we want to pull zipper tab away. We want to keep everybody straight and happy. While we're doing this. So you need multiple hands to make sure that the fabric is all pressed away correctly. Now keep in mind, I'm worried about the zipper and this fabric that I have on the top at this moment. We're going to go back along and do it on the other side also. So it's getting pressed on the other side, but we're not tightening up the seam like we should be at this point. Now my zipper pull is made of metal, so it may be a little hot at this point. All right, so we did that side. Now we have to do this side. So it's not too bad. And there we go. Now we have the zipper pressed away from the fabric. I'm just going to press this up a little bit. There's a little fold in there that I still haven't gotten quite out yet. So maybe since we're sitting here right now, it might work a little bit better. There we go. Okay. So the fabric's all nice and pressed. And the next step says, top stitch through all layers about 1/8 inch away from fold, top stitch again about 1/4 inch away from this stitching. So, just like we've been doing. So I'm going to move my zipper foot to the other side. I am going to put the needle right in the middle for a second. I'm going to increase the stitch length. And now I'm going to move my needle all the way over. There we go. So that I'm right on the edge of the fold. I'm going to have the fold follow the foot. And do my top stitch. And now I will move my needle all the way over, and still using my foot as a guide, I will do my second set of stitching. Okay, there we go. We have now got our zipper on top. We have our zipper pouch and our zipper pouch lining. So now we have to put the other side on. So we're going to do the same thing, sort of. All right, so now place the other zipper pouch outside J. So in our case, that is the one that has the accessory pocket. J. Right side up, so we're right side up. And top facing up, which I did not. And in this case, that does matter because the top of the pockets, if I were to have sewn it on that side, then all of the pockets would have had the opening on the bottom. So you want to be cautious of direction. So we want to make sure this is the top, that's the bottom. There we go. And place zipper right side down on top of the zipper pouch outside J, aligning the edge of the zipper tape with the top edge of the zipper pouch. Okay, so the zipper is attached to fabric. So now we're going to do this. I'm going to lay it on top. We're going to line everybody up. When I say that, I'm lining up on the edges. All right. Next, place the other zipper pouch lining, which would be this, on top and sew through all 3 layers. So, again, not in the directions, I'm basting. Baste. Move my needle over so we have a small seam. Now let's get rid of you first. Make that go down a little bit. Make sure everybody's lined up straight. Alright, so basting is done. So now I'm going to take my other piece of lining. Place the other zipper pouch lining K right side down over zipper, aligning with top edge, pin through all 3 layers. Okay, so right side down. Okay. So now we're going to sew all 3 layers together across the top here. We're going to change to a regular stitch length. And where did I move it to? I don't remember now. I got to do it again. No, that's a 1/2 inch. Yeah, wondered why it looks so long. There we go. I think that was it, 1.3. Yes, 1.3. Okay. Now my 1/4 inch seam will work on this side. Where's my zipper pull? It's right there. That out of the way. And now get it out of the way again, going the other direction. And voila, we have a seam. Okay, so now just like the other side, we're taking this piece and now this piece and folding them out and opening them up, so that we have the zipper now exposed in the middle. And now we have to do our pressing. That way, so I can grab a hold of it appropriately. There we go. And now we're going to pull down. Get this nice and tight. This is laying quite easier than the other side. Well, I am doing the interfaced side first this time. Okay, this side is not interfaced. This is going to be the actual lining of the pocket. And it not being interfaced makes it a little more challenging. There we go. Just to make sure everybody's nice and straight and flat. Now flip it over. Looks very fall now that I'm looking at it, with the brown pockets and the bright green zipper. I wonder, did I do that right? I did. Excellent. So a pen will fit in there. And then, like I said, I'm not certain what I'll be putting in some of these pockets, but all right. Back to the machine to do our top stitching. All right. Move you over on the other side. And now our 1/4 inch. So just move our needle over. There we go. All right. We almost have our zipper pouch complete. Okay, so here we go. We have the exterior. We have the interior. So it's going to look like this. Let's put the pocket, accessory pocket out. So it's going to look like this. But first we have to get the bottom sewn together. How are we going to do that? So we take our zipper and we open it up. This is a very important step. If you don't do this step, you are going to have massive amounts of problems later on. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our J piece, which is interfaced in my case, and the other J, which has the pocket on it, and put them together. All right. Then we're going to lift it up and take our lining pieces, which in my case are not interfaced, and match them up. Then we are going to sew them together on either side with a 1/4 inch seam. So back to the machine we go. Now I am not going to switch over to my walking foot because I really just don't feel like doing that right now. But I am going to get rid of the zipper foot because we don't need that anymore. And I am going to use a special foot, which is a 1/4 inch foot. So since we're doing a 1/4 inch seam, I'm putting on my 1/4 inch foot. The outside of the toe on this foot is a 1/4 inch. So I just line up my fabric and keep everybody straight. Now we're going to do it the same thing to the other side. Oh, stop. Wonderful. Pockets. Well, a pocket, I should say. All right. Reach into zipper and pull out the pouch outside through the zipper opening, and then push the zipper pouch lining back down into the pouch. Okay. So this is the exterior. This is the pouch lining. So we have to pull the exterior out through the zipper. All right, so now we have the exterior pulled out, and then we want to push in the lining. And now we have our zippered pocket with the bottom closed up, and our interior pocket all nice and lined, and it's closed up. So everybody's where they belong. Does it say to press? It does not say to press. I'm going to press, because the next thing we're going to do is attach it to the lining, and I want to make sure I have my edges nice and smooth before I do that. So first I'm going to get my lining out of the way. I don't want to worry about my lining right now. I only want to worry about this bottom edge. And I want the top to be slightly over the bottom, because this is all going to be sewn onto the lining, and I do not want to see that stitched seam if I can help it. You sit there for a minute. That's right, I'm out of water. Okay. So now from the front, you can see just the fabric. From the back, you can see a little bit of the other side of the fabric. So this way, everything is clean and no seams are seen. And this is the side that's going to be sewn onto the lining. No, it's not. This is the open side. I forgot. Either way, I want it to look pretty. Are we not top stitching? Oh, we do it next. Okay. I forgot. There's another step in there. So now I'm going to take my lining and make sure it's nice and straight all the way across, and press it in the lining so that it sits straight and flat, so I don't feel it on the outside. So everybody's nice and straight. There we go. Nice sharp pocket. Okay. What time are we at? We're getting close. Okay, there we go. Place the tote lining. Tote lining. Tote lining. Here we go. Let's give you a zoom in look. There we go. All right, so place the tote lining. Right side up. So, right side up. Place the completed zipper pouch right side up over the tote lining, 2 inches down from the top edge. All right. Ruler. Don't need the scissors. 2 inches from the top edge. So we've got a nice 2 inches. And now we're going to place this 2 inches from the edge. Now, I am keeping this going this way. Later on, we will be sewing things together, but for right now, we want our zipper pouch, because the zipper is going to be on the top. So everybody's straight on the edges. Let's get some clips. Clip. We're going to clip. We're going to clip. And we're going to clip. Alrighty, 2 inches down. Even on the sides. That's how we're looking. Okay. The next step switch to a heavy-duty needle using a 1/2 inch seam machine-based zipper pouch to tote lining along the side edges. So that's where we will start in part 5. Because I want you to see how this all works. Because we're gonna baste down the sides, and then we're actually going to put a seam in the lining. So inside the zipper. That'll be fun to see. She did put a photo of how to do that in the directions, but we're going to go through it and talk about it. All right. We are on step number 21 of 36. Now, a lot of the rest of it is general tote bag stuff. So if you know how to make a tote bag, most of what we're going to be doing next is the basics, is this general stuff. So I'm thinking we will need the 2 more parts, part 5 and part 6, that I have posted. I don't think we're going to need a part 7. I was thinking we might, but I wasn't certain. When I set the videos up, I wasn't certain how long the whole making the fabric thing was going to take. So that's why I set up 6, and I'm thinking 6 is probably going to be correct. But this is the end for today. Next time we will start with basting these on and then getting to tote assembly. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, remind, whatever you need to do to visit me. I'm almost to 100 subscribers, which for most people, everybody's like, oh, that's no big deal. For me, this is a big deal. Once I reach 100, I'm going to be pretty happy. I'm thinking that's going to be pretty fun. So get your friends to subscribe, whatever. We'll see y'all next time.